Hello there and welcome to what is wheel-to-wheel racing, round number 5 here in Barcelona as the drivers prepare themselves for what should be a thrilling qualifying session here in Spain. By the looks of things it is wet weather, not too sure whether it will dry up or not. Welcome in Dylan, how are we doing? Hope you enjoy the action along with all the drivers listening, and we'll watch after the race I'm sure, and good luck to all the drivers as well. Now before we get drivers on the track, take a look at the Drivers' Championship. So at the top of the table it is Jamie and Chick, both Red Bull drivers on 75 and 71 points. And then behind them in P3 we do have Baby in the AlphaTauri. And then it is a very close fight, in fact, for P3 with Ibrahim in the Alpine and Marek in the Alfa Romeo. Both on 43 points as we see Tony and Husky come out on the track for the first runs of the session. We also have LM Boy in the McLaren on 39 points with Wasbeer in the Alfa Romeo there in 7th, and Husky, this man, down in 8th place. We look towards the constructors then, where we see Red Bull on top on 146 points, Alfa Romeo in 2nd, McLaren in 3rd, that's 79 points for Alfa Romeo, 71 points for McLaren, and then 70 points for Alpine, who are in 4th, so Alpine will be looking to make gains this race on those ahead. So it will be Husky who will settle at first. These will just be bankers as the drivers try to find the best lines and how far that they can get on the limits around here in the wet conditions. I would assume many drivers would have done wet practice, but obviously some may not have done. So here we go then, right on board with Husky for his first flying lap around the circuit of Catalunya here in Barcelona. Up through the gears then, down towards turn 1. Be a hard break in here for the right hander, down to gear 4, then straight into the left hander, second turn. Now round the long right hander of turn 3. Careful not to spin as he nearly lets the back end step out. His sector 1 split is a 24.8, which is obviously fastest of anyone so far. Down now into the next corner, another hard braking zone as the back end slides, and Husky has invalidated. He cuts the inside curb there, so not a good start for him. Focus now turns then to Tony in the Alpine, where he gets to 24.6. That's 2/10 faster than Husky already. On the exit, that corner looked pretty good. Tries not to do what Husky did, which he does. Takes it quite cautiously though. With a and the King in the Aston Martin has binned it at turn 2 on his first lap, so he will be out of qualifying here, which is rather disappointing for the Aston Martin driver, but I'm sure that he can bounce back in the race. ST coming up to the second sector split now. Tony going strong with a 59.2. Everyone out on track now, bar 3 drivers. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy they choose. But here we go then, through the final sector. 2 fast speed right-handers to end the lap. Up to 6th. Dexify goes on provisional pole with 26.4. What can Tony do? He does a 24.7, so that is a fantastic lap. Sunday in the Williams then does a 26.3, and Ibrahim in the other Alpine, in fact, goes second with a 26.1, and Ella now the second Red Bull driver with 25.5. Diamonds in the Mercedes putting in a solid, respectable 25.0. Next up now will be Starry. That was Blaze going slowly. Yes, he has invalidated. So Starry then with a 1 minute dead in the second sector split. He'll need a big final sector there, but the back end just sliding away from him just a little bit. But he does manage to save it. There is yellow flags in sector 1. That's for a slow moving Mercedes, but it looks like they've got going again. Coming up towards the line now, Starry goes P5 with 26.1. Not a bad effort at all there for the young AlphaTauri driver. Here we have Blaze coming to start his lap again. Husky crossing the line, low fuel mode, goes up to P4 with 25.7. He'll be looking to get back to the pits ASAP though, if possible. So we now have Jamie on an out lap and Blaze going for his lap. So it's right on board. Fuel light is flashing, slow moving Red Bull in sector 2, but looks like that's been cleared very nicely. 24.8 then for Blaze in the first sector, not too bad, but the rear is sliding on the exit of that turn 4. And it does look like he's got that right, and it's a good exit as well, so Blaze could be on for a good lap here. Down to 4th, shortly down to 3rd actually. Then he short shifts back up to 4th in these tricky wet conditions. This right-hander normally flat out in the dry. Nearly went a little bit wide. Jamie looks like he's just preparing for his lap, giving the Mercedes a little bit of space. That was Diamonds. He didn't improve on his lap, but he is going again. Blaze then through the final sector. Let's see what he can do here. A little bit of a lift through there. Final corner. There's a slow moving Haas in sector 3, but I won't bother Blaze at all. Coming up to the line, and he will cross it now, and he does go P3 with 25.3. It's a very good lap. That's now right on board. Jamie, your championship leader by 4 points, and he doesn't look the quickest in the wet here. Goes a little bit wide there, getting 2 wheels off of the track. Here we go then. Oh, and there's a little bit of a slide there for Jamie coming up towards the line. He goes P6 with 25.9. So he's about 4/10 off his teammate. He will not be happy with that. Diamonds then, 3/10 up on his lap. So he'll be looking to try and challenge Tony for the race win? Pole position. Webb, if you've spoken to the owners, I mean, I can't really do anything about that. So if they say yes, then of course. But here we go then with Diamonds coming across the line. It will be a 24.8, so we lost a lot of time in that last sector there. It was 3/10 up, but only 1/10 up in the end as Ella comes across the line to complete a lap there with a 25.0 up to P3. Next across the line, I think, will be Starry in the AlphaTauri. Yes, it will be, but he's on a slow lap by the looks of things, so don't think anything will count here. Blaze is in low fuel mode and invalidated. Okay, cool. I will invite you then. That's not a problem. There you go. Right, so that you have Jamie. Is he going again? Not too sure. He's not got a lot of fuel, and he is coming into the pits. Have Ibrahim starting his lap. We've got Diamonds still on another lap, but we've got Black Reaper doing a lap. He's actually gone purple sector 1, so this will be his first lap of the session. 9 minutes to go here in Barcelona for Q1, which is our only qualifying session in this format. Let's see if Black Reaper can put his lap together, try and challenge for a provisional pole. Diamond's coming up towards the line. What's he going to do? He improves by 68 thousandths, but still not quite enough. Stays P2. As Ella goes fastest with a 24.5 in the Red Bull by 2/10. So it's a good lap from Ella there. Here comes Black Reaper. Can he keep it in a straight line? Come around to the final corner. Big lift. Bit of brake there as well. Coming across the line, foot to the floor. It will be P4 at 25.3. That's a good lap there for Reaper. We still yet to see Baby do a lap. And then obviously our Webb has only just joined us. Starry is coming up towards the line, and again that was another slow lap, 8.5 seconds down. We now have Ibrahim finishing off his lap. It doesn't look like it's going to be representable, so I think he is backed out of that one. So our attention turns towards Haskey, who's starting his lap. So let's ride on board with Haskey then. See how Haskey can do. Coming down into turn 1. Hard braking. Does lock the fronts quite a lot there actually. Going through turn 2. Oh, and he gets all out of shape. And he gets out of shape again. So he will have to recharge and go again. Unfortunately for Haskey there. A lot of traffic going down the main straight here as a couple of people come out of the pits there. You see Jamie coming back out for a second run. Blaze coming out for a second attempt. I think it might be Black Reaper finishing his lap. Was 77 thousandths up in sector 2. Don't think it's going to be enough for a position improvement. It's not, but it's not far away. 24.8 keeps in P4. It's a very respectable effort there from the Williams driver. Next we see, I believe that's Starry. He's actually coming into the pits. That won't matter too much. Got Ibrahim out there. Still coming through the final sector. Think this is a push lap. Here we go then. Through the final corner we go. Back on the power after a short lift. A little bit of a slide there. But coming across the line. Improves by 7 tenths. Up to 6th place. We're 25.3, just behind Blaze. So it'll be interesting to see if Blaze improves, but no, he's on an in lap by the looks. Oh, and there's been a collision as Sunday tried to come into the pits, I'm assuming. His wing looks okay, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but unfortunately for the Williams driver, he's got to carry on. So you see our Webb now starting his first lap down into turn 1, chooses the 4th gear now for turn 2, and then turn 3, the long right hander. Got to be really careful through here in the wet. The back end is very likely to step out on you if you get it wrong. He does do a 25.0 first sector, which is purple for sector 1, so could we see Mercedes challenging Red Bull here for provisional pole? And Sunday's quite close to the back of him. Hopefully that's not putting the Mercedes driver off too much. It's looking like a clean, tidy lap for him. Let's come around this right-hander. Little bit of a break back on the power dome. We'll go up through the gears once again from 5th. Second sector split now is a 59.9. It's showing purple again. Takes a nice wide line, so see what happens here. Another long right hander. Can he get the power down right? Yes, he can by the looks. A little bit of wheel spin, nothing too crazy. Little bit of braking for the final corner. Doesn't go too wide. Keeps it on the track. Doesn't invalidate. Come across the line. It's only P8. 25.7 there for our Webb. And there is a Williams driver off again. It's Sunday in the final corner. Again, he's off. Oh no. So that's the second time he missed a pit. He did sort of drive backwards to get back into the pits. Luckily it didn't affect any other drivers, so we should be alright with that one. Don't think the stewards will really look into that. We now have Jamie on a lap by the looks of things. Nope, he's 4.5 seconds down, but Blaze certainly is. He's right on the back of Jamie. Going through turn 4. Down to turn 3, gear 5. Gets a good exit. But he will have Jamie ahead of him, giving him dirty air. Throwing up that spray into his face. So, not ideal for the Ferrari driver, this. Some may argue that Jamie could potentially be impeding slightly. And Jamie now does let the Ferrari through. And as we can see, Blaze has only improved by a 10th. By what seemed like a fairly decent second sector there. So, At the moment, that won't be good enough for a position improvement either, so we'll have to ride on board with his last sector, see if he can get it right, especially his final corner. Can he be brave? He's braver than what we have seen. Gets as wide as he really could have done there. Across the line. It's a good final sector, but not good enough for P5. 25-3. Just asserts his name in that P6 position. Jamie going on another lap here. Probably his last run of the session. As we see drivers now coming out of the pits for the final laps. As you see Starry cross the line. Improves to a 25-7, but it's not good enough for a position improvement. So he stays P11. Jamie is 83 thousandths up on his time. So can he challenge his teammate as he gets a little bit of a slide there coming out of turn 4. But can we see Jamie try and challenge for this pole position? And he's actually backed out, so he'll try and go again. He does have the fuel for it. So nothing too horrendous there for him. So now see Alpine on the track once again of Tony. Not seen him since the start of the session, so that 24/7 has been there for a while. He is P2 at the moment, going through turn 3. Expecting to see big improvements in this final lap. And there we go, he's already up by 3.5 tenths going through turn 4. Rather cautious on exit though, as he looks to try and challenge for the pole position. Gets a pretty good exit there though, must say. Another braking zone, uphill, left, right for the Alpine driver. Alpine obviously looking to make steps forward compared to their rivals Alfa Romeo and McLaren, but we don't have Alfa Romeo and McLaren racing tonight, so it's a huge opportunity. And as I was saying that, it's a huge opportunity for them to make steps forward. Tony has messed up his lap, but he can go again, I do believe. And he will do. He's got the battery for it. But yeah, he lost a lot of time there. So we'll ride on board with Ella then, who is 8 tenths down. So not a competitive lap this one. Blaze has retired in the pits. Then have a Mercedes going through the final sector, which is Diamonds. So can Diamonds try and prevent either the Red Bull or Alpine getting pole here in Spain? Come around the final corner now, up towards the finish line. Diamonds will take nothing. He didn't improve either. What about Webb? Oh, Webb down in 10th currently, improves by 3.5 tenths up to 9th, but not good enough to challenge for pole. Next up is Jamie, who abandons his lap and comes into the pits. Oh, and he's crashed into the pit wall. That is not ideal. Tony is 4 tenths up on his time. Ella 2 tenths up on their time there as well. So can we see Tony deny Ella of a pole here? Neck and neck on lap time currently. Tony just needs to keep it pointing in the right direction. Oh, and he spun it. Penultimate corner. Tony has spun. He has reset to track. Oh, that'll be looked at by the stewards. Black Reaper then being denied of an improvement on his lap time. But Ella in the Red Bull looks like they would take pole, but no. Sunday, the Williams driver, comes out of nowhere with a 24.4. But Ella still 3.5 tenths up on their time. Coming across the line, what would it be? Oh my, wow. Sunday out of nowhere takes pole. We see Ibrahim with a 24.7 in the Alpine, just missing out on P3 to his teammate there as well. So very unexpected there. Sunday with a pole position by 1,000th of a second to Ella. Ella did look the strongest, so I'm sure that she will be rather upset with that, I would say. But that will be your starting grid here in Barcelona. Just some information coming in from the chat. Jamie was 8/10 up on his lap and he ran out of fuel. So that would have been a 24-1 there for Jamie. So unfortunately for Jamie, down there in P7, got some work to do if he wants to try and get up towards those podium places where I think he should be. But there we go then. Sunday is your pole sitter here in Barcelona. Very unexpected. Don't think anyone saw that coming. Ella P2 in the Red Bull. P3 is Tony. Then we have Ibrahim P4, Diamonds P5, Black Reaper P6, Jamie P7, Blaze P8, Husky P9, and R-Web rounds out the top 10 with Dexify and Starry P11 and 12, and then we have Baby and King, who both did not set a lap time, but the top 10 separated by a second, so it was very close. And as you can see, the top two there separated by 1,000th of a second. But whether it was unexpected or not, it was a fantastic lap from Sunday there to put it on pole. And to start the race, by the looks of things, it will be dry. So, be very interesting to see if any driver, in fact, went for a wet setup. And be looking forward to see differences in strategy here for the race as well. Here we go then to 5 red lights for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good start from the Williams on pole position, but it's an even better start from Ella in P2 as she jumps straight up to P1, and we have Ibrahim sniffing. Down into turn 1 goes Ibrahim on those soft tyres, forces Ella out wide. Up to P1 for the Alpine, followed by Sunday, followed by Ella, then Diamonds, who's looking for a move on Ella into turn 4, up the inside on the soft tyres compared to the medium tyres. Down the inside goes Diamond, the side by side going through turn 4. Now will it end up being turn 5? Oh, and Sunday spun into the wall. Sunday is just kept it out the wall, but Diamond's up to P2, Ella up to down to P3, should I say. Black Reaper P4, Blaze P5, Jamie P6 battling away with R-Web on the hard tyres. Around the outside, R-Web down the inside. As we see, R-Web now losing places. Side by side, going through the long right-hander. And Baby with a lovely switch back on Jamie up to P6. R-Web now looking for it around the outside of Jamie up to P7 there. Starry up to P10. Has gone wide there. Husky down on the order, side by side with Tony. Tony has lost a lot of places, but Tony has defended that position into P12. So on the end of lap 1, then we see Ibrahim leading the way from Diamonds, from Ella, from Black Reaper, as we see Jamie into the pits. That must be for damage. And we also see the Haas looking for a move on Starry. He's got that done. Can he look for the move on King? Down the inside into turn 1. Beautiful camera angle from EA as always. A little bit of contact, but Dexify does get it done. Sunday also into the pits for what I would assume is damage also. But it looks like all the drivers are now facing the right way and will get into a nice rhythm for the rest of the Grand Prix. Obviously no DRS enabled until the next lap. But let's have a look at strategies then. So the top two on soft tyres with Ella and Black Reaper on mediums, Blaze on softs, Baby on medium, R-Web, the only driver who started on hards, with Dexify and King on soft tyres, as we actually see Tony going for a move on Starry. Medium tyres versus medium tyres for these two. Starry goes wide, and Tony says thank you very much up the inside and takes P10 back up into the points paying positions. Dexify, as you would expect, all over the back of R-Web on those soft tyres. Baby taking the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and Dexify using his battery. I don't think it's going to be close enough for a move. R-Web goes defensive, but it's not going to be close enough, unfortunately, for the Haas driver, and he's going to have to stay put into P8 there. But he has got a lovely exit coming out of turn 2 compared to R-Web. Can he look for the move in turn 4? He might be close enough for a dive. Is he thinking about it? Yes, he is. He's gone for it up the inside. One tyre on the grass. Little bit of understeer. Beautiful driving from both of these drivers. And he's going to think about the inside for the next corner. Bit too over-ambitious. But fortunately, they are both facing in the right direction. And R-Web, very, very good defending from him to keep P7. This is the battle to look at, as well as the battle for P3, as Black Reaper tucked in behind Ella there, 2.5 tenths behind. Baby also 4 tenths behind Blaze. But this is a train that is now forming. P7 down to P10 as R-Web holding up the other drivers on the hard tyres. So Dexify then goes a little bit wide. I think that will be a warning, and there's a move for the lead as Diamonds overtakes Ibrahim for the race lead. But here comes Dexify and here comes King. They're going to go 3 into 1 side by side, and R-Web loses out by 2 positions. King up to P8, Dexify up to P7, and ultimately R-Web down to P9. But Dexify has used a lot of his battery. R-Web looking to come back at King side by side. R-Web down the inside. It will turn to the outside for turn 3. Nearly will bang in there. Around the outside from R-Web. Can he get it done? Very, very clean racing from both drivers. They're going to keep it side by side. Oh, and as I say that, it's commentator's curse. They've both gone spinning into the wall. R-Web with damage. King possibly with damage there as well. And that has brought out the first VSC. And yes, confirmation there. King has front wing damage. What an eventful race this has been. Now, will any of the soft runners choose to do a medium strategy here? I don't think so. By the looks of things, all drivers will stay out apart from, I would say, R-Web and King. Yep, R-Web comes into the pits and King will follow suit. Yep. That's very unfortunate for R-Web as well, as he did start on the hards. So maybe a soft, medium soft is the way back in for him. Husky now. Up into the top 10. So our attention turns to the front few drivers. I do apologise about that. And here we go. Racing is back underway once again. And Ibrahim has got a very good jump on Diamonds. And ultimately these two have broken away from the rest of the pack. Ibrahim not quite close enough for a move. Ella will probably want to stay in the DRS here to defend from those behind. Blaze up to P5 as well. Good start from him. Both AlphaTauris in the points as well as Haas cars now. So it's looking good for Alpine as well. P2 as Ibrahim goes very wide. That must be a warning there. And they're going to go side by side. Diamonds tried to push him to the pit wall but wasn't good enough. And Ibrahim says thank you very much. I will take the lead back. So back up to P1 for him. And Tony up to P8 as he overtakes Starry with the DRS. Easy move for him there, and he's now got 2.5 seconds up the road to Dexify as we see We now see Black Reaper overtake Ella. Now Ella has to defend from Blaze. The Blaze will not be close enough here on this DRS straight. On the soft tyres is Blaze compared to Black Reaper and Ella on the mediums. But crucially, the top two have definitely now got away, as Black Reaper is 1.4 seconds behind. I'm sure that gap will keep extending. Diamonds on 90% ERS here compared to Ibrahim's 70. So they're both quite healthy on the battery. Is Diamonds going to go for it? They're side by side. Ibrahim just lets him through. I'm sure they'll just keep DRS swapping every lap. Ella not close enough for a move there on Black Reaper. Blaze and Baby still following behind. Tony is now right on the back of Dexify, so Tony is on a charge. Here we go then. Tony with a lovely exit up the inside of Dexify. They're still side by side. Dexify has the inside for the next corner. Side by side, Tony will go for the switchback. He will now have DRS. He's got the better straight line speed. And he uses his battery. Around the outside goes Tony. And Dexify does tap him on the rear, but it doesn't affect him at all. And Tony up to P7. Very, very good recovery drive from Tony this so far. He's now got 5 seconds up to the next lot of drivers, and Black Reaper used all of his battery to get back within the DRS of the top two. So we now have a DRS train from P1 to P6 as it stands. As we saw Baby looking for a move on Blaze there. A few of these drivers already flashing here on lap number 8 of 33. That includes Black Reaper and Baby. Oh, and Blaze goes wide, maybe losing some grip, and that allows Baby to try and attack him around the outside, side by side, on the exit of turn 5, going into turn 7 now, still around the outside for Baby, will turn to the inside, there's a little bit of contact, Blaze goes round, and that will probably be looked at by the stewards, but Tony now up to P6, and he's already gained a second on these guys. But so far, so good for Diamonds. 90% ERS, leading the Grand Prix. And Black Reaper, I think he's just lost DRS again. Yes, he has. He has. So Ella might look to get past him here. And she is used a little bit of her battery. She can look to move around the outside. She's surely got to. Black Reaper with no ERS. Ella around the outside into turn 1. Can't quite get the move done, unfortunately for her, and now Black Reaper is 2 seconds behind the leaders, so not ideal for this train, but it is allowing Tony to catch up as he's now only 3.5 seconds behind. And unfortunately after that spin, Blaze did drop to P9. He's now 6 seconds off the back of Starry, so Starry and Dexify having their own little battle here for P7. As we ride on board with Ella now through the final sector. In between these two drivers, Black Reaper and Baby. Sitting in P4. Black Reaper still not got a lot of ERS at all as he starts flashing once more. Down the main straight. Onto lap 10 of 33. Diamond still leads the way. Tony now 2.5 seconds behind this fight for P3. Will Starry look for a move on Dexify? I think he will. Into turn 1. Yeah, he just backs out of it. He is on the medium tyres though, so his tyres should be better by now. As Dexify gets a little bit out of shape there on the exit of turn 2, but does keep it going. And Blaze now 5.6 behind. Baby now right on the back of Ella, pushing her through this section. And yeah, Ella just really drops off the back of Baby. She's using her battery. Baby is not. So Black Reaper might be looking to break the DRS here. Ella now falls another tenth behind. Make that 8.5 tenths now. She will crucially still have DRS, but will Baby try and use his battery to get past? No. Black Reaper's still not replenishing the battery either. It's now down to 5% on the battery. And Ella closes that gap up a little bit more. Will we see Starry fight back once again? He's using his battery to the inside of the Haas car. Down into turn 1. Heavy braking side by side. We'll turn to the outside for turn 2. Little bit of contact through there. They're now side by side for turn 3. Starry the inside. Now Dexify trying to come back with a switchback. Heading into turn 4. And Starry has got the move done. As we see a position swap further down the grid. King up to P12 ahead of Jamie there. But what a move by Starry that was. Good racing by these two. And we will look further forward once again to the battle for P3. Between Black Reaper, Ella and Baby. Top 2 still going strong with their battery. Ibrahim just tucking in behind. And here comes Baby on Ella. And Ella's now also attacking. They're going to look to go 3 wide into turn 1. Ella on the outside. Oh, and Baby gets tagged around slightly. But he does keep it going. Ella up to P3. Black Reaper down to P4. And now this invites Tony into the mix in P6. But he's going to look for the move on Baby into turn 4. Not quite close enough. Baby looks like they're struggling with their tyres a little bit now, as Husky comes into the pits to get rid of those soft tyres and goes on to the medium, so that he'll be trying to go to the end of the race. But we now have a 4-car battle, for P3, as Tony looking for the move into the next corner, around the outside, Baby on the inside, and Baby defends that move to hold P5. As Blaze picks up the first track limit penalty of the evening. Down there in P9. Tony will want to clear Baby sooner rather than later. Reaper comes into the pits from P4. And Tony now takes that P4. But has not got a lot of battery either. As we see Starry and Dexify pass Reaper in the pits. Dexify on no battery at all. And we see Black Reaper go to the hards. Comes out in P9 as Jamie picks up in 9 seconds. So things go from bad to worse for the Red Bull driver. Looking to maintain the championship lead. Which was at 4 points before this race. But now it will, as things stand, be a 11-point deficit. So Tony hanging on to the back of Ella then, pushing her through the corners and looking very feisty. I'm sure Tony will overtake here on this DRS straight. DRS is open. Ella has a bit more battery than him, but chooses not to use it. And Tony back up to P3 then. So Alpine looking very, very strong to make ground on every constructor, in fact, as it stands. They will catapult themselves up to P2 and slightly closer towards Red Bull. As we see Dexify, and we also see Blaze come into the pits to go for hards on their soft tyres. as we see King and Jamie swapping positions into turn 1. Both drivers having stopped already. So Black Reaper then is the lead pitter, if that makes sense. Oh, and we have Husky spinning on the exit of turn 2. Husky wasn't far enough off the back of the grid as it was. Ibrahim now comes into the pits for his pit stop, going onto the medium tyres here on lap 15. And Starry now up to P5, yet to pit. We now just see some of the drivers spreading out a little bit as we head closer towards the later pit stops. And King is catching our web, so this could be a good little fight here. Jamie hanging onto the back of these two as well. Got a little bit of a DRS train forming. And Black Reaper is 2.5 seconds behind Ibrahim with that 2-lap undercut. So when will Diamonds come into the pits then? The answer is now. So Diamonds into the pits, Tony carries on, Ella carries on, Baby carries on. So it looks like those on mediums who are yet to stop will do a medium soft. As Starry comes into pits now, so that will definitely be hards. Let's hope it's a good pit stop for Starry. Hards are ready to go. Mediums come off. Hards go on. He's out the pits in no time. He will come out just behind Dexify, I think. And he will. Just behind Dexify in P11. So not ideal for the AlphaTauri driver there. And Black Reaper just half a second behind Diamonds now. So that 3-lap undercut has worked lovely for him, as he was roughly 5 seconds behind the leaders, I believe. So good strategy this from Reaper to try and bring himself back into the game, if possible, back into the fight for the race win. But Diamonds, I'm sure, as he does, he has a lot more battery, so he'll probably look to utilise that. Ibrahim, net race leader, as Tony comes into pits and picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding. So this will be rather interesting. Where will he come out? I'm sure it'll be behind Black Reaper. Yeah, it definitely will be. He'll come out around our web in this little battle for P7. Jamie coming into the pits, and no, not quite. Tony is roughly 2.5 seconds behind Black Reaper. Jamie for the softs. King tucking in behind our web quite nicely there. So Tony has got some work to do then. Unfortunately for him, Black Reaper holding on to Diamonds. Diamonds not really making an impression on Ibrahim with those 1-lap fresher tyres. But I'm sure we will see him making inroads on that 1.9 second deficit sooner rather than later. And yeah, he is pushing, so I would assume he'll be within the DRS in the next 1 or 2 laps, and he'll probably look to set the fastest lap here as well. So we've still got Ella and Baby to pit, and when they do so, they will be a lot they will be a lot closer behind, further behind than they probably would have liked. Diamonds now setting the fastest lap as predicted, now 2/10 off the back of the DRS. But yeah, Ella and Baby will be going to the softs. they'll just have to hope that they have enough time to gain the time back that they are now losing. You see King get past R-Web into turn 1. That's for P7. Both of them definitely going to have to stop again. Already on 13 lap old mediums. So Diamonds then within the DRS on Ibrahim as he looks to try and break the tow. I don't think Diamonds will be too bothered about overtaking right now. Ooh, that was a late move there from Ibrahim, just on the limit there, I do believe. We see R-Web get past King again into turn 1. So these two will be going for soft tyres as well, so they'll have to hope that they've got enough time left. Jamie went really early for the softs. 2 laps old already. He's got the fastest lap though, as we can see Sunday coming to the pits. Unfortunate start to the race that was for our pole sitter. And by the looks of it, he's going to have to hope for a safety car. And it looks like Husky has disconnected there as well. So these two now about 6-7 seconds off the leader. And I will have a look at that for you. Yep, there we go. So Ella and Baby now into the pits. None of them picking up speeding penalties, and it is for the soft tyres. So let's see how far behind they come out then. Will Diamonds be looking for the move? Yes, he will be. Into turn 1. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. That's a slow moving Ferrari ablaze for the second time this race. Diamonds gets past Ibrahim. Webb up to 5th, but probably will have to stop again. And gap to the leader from Ella is 15 seconds. It's going to be a very close ending to this race. So we see Black Reaper and Tony currently battling for the 3rd position. Tony with that 5-second time penalty. Here comes Tony around the outside. Gets forced off the track a little bit, but it is hard, fair racing. And Tony on the inside, next corner, makes the move stick as Dexify #driver MP9 picks up a 3-second time penalty. But also makes a move on King. King going very wide there. And Starry gets past as well. Or looking to around the outside. King does get back at him though. As we see Diamonds and Ibrahim just swapping positions once again into turn 1. And Ella now overtakes R-Web for P5. We also see King getting past X5 for P8 into turn 1. Well, King really left the door open there, and Dexify said thank you very much. Went straight up his inside into turn 4. Took the position back. King was 16 lap old mediums compared to Dexify's 7 lap old hards and Starry's 5 lap old hards. So Starry will be thinking about a pass as Baby now gets past Webb. And Tony now taking the fast lap on the hard tyres. So he's really wanting to push. And the gap to the leader now for Ella for you guys at home is 13.5. So she's only gained 1.5 seconds, which isn't great. But the reason why is because Diamonds and Ibrahim on the start finish straight, as Starry gets past King into turn 1, they are DRS swapping, so it gains them around about 3/10 a lap by doing that. And if you think, you know, if they do that for 10 laps, that's 3 seconds, so it's a lot of time. That might just prevent Ella from taking the race win from one of them. So you see a nice little train from P8 down to P11 now, starting to form. Down the inside goes Starry. All Dexify gets a little bit out of shape on the outside, and Starry up into P8 then. As you see King coming into the pits, that'll promote Blaze up into the top 10. And so does Arweb, so that'll be for soft tyres for the both drivers there, Mercedes and Aston Martin. They're going to have a mega final stint to try and get back into those points. The Arweb, 90% battery. King, 70% battery. So both of them got quite a lot of battery. As we now see Baby is overtaking Ella. So Baby getting out of shape though. So might invite Ella back for a move. But Baby really showing some pace on this soft tyre stint. But once again, getting a little bit out of shape as Diamonds is battling away with Tony, both Alpines. Here we go then. Has Ibrahim been trying to hold Diamonds up in order to help Tony get further up the grid and maybe try and completely disregard this 5-second penalty? Here we go. Diamonds using all of his battery to try and get ahead of Ibrahim. Doesn't want to be in the middle of these two. And yeah, Tony's now going to go up into P2 as well. So Ibrahim lost 2 positions there at once into turn 1. And I'm sure Tony would look to overtake Diamonds as soon as possible. He is on fresher tyres and the harder compound as well. So don't write Tony off yet for a race win here. Yes, he has the 5 seconds, but he's showing very good pace. And he's on arguably the best tyre. So here we go then. Tony to the inside of Diamonds. Diamonds defending well around the outside, but it's not quite enough to prevent Tony from taking the race lead here on lap 24 of 33. Husky now coming into the pits. I do believe that's an AI driver. And it is, yes. So Diamonds then will just look to try and stay within the 5 seconds of Tony. Tony doesn't have actually any ERS. Neither does Ibrahim. So both Alpines low on ERS. Black Reaper also low on ERS. So is Baby. So Ella maybe has the best chance to try and catch the top 3. But at the moment, both Baby and Ella not really showing the pace that is required to achieve that. As we see Blaze overtake Dexify into turn 1. And Diamonds has lost the DRS there on Tony. Oh, and it's a half spin for Diamonds, and that's going to release Tony. And because of that, Diamonds has lost 7/10 of a second. And that might be the difference between Tony coming first and second. But I'm sure Ibrahim will try and get in front of Diamonds. Possibly hold him up to guarantee Tony the race win here. Ella following Baby very closely, now up to 60% battery. And Ibrahim following Diamond very closely, as you see Baby get a 3 second. So that guarantees Baby not in contention for a podium. But as I already said, these two really not showing the pace that would be required to achieve that anyway, unfortunately for them. Don't write our web out of a points position either. The train forming of 8, 9 and 10 could get quite messy possibly, but our web is got his fuel light on, so maybe not. So Jamie all over the back of Dexify then. Through the final sector, Arweb now gained a second. Dexify all over the track. Jamie will use his ERS and his DRS, try to get past Dexify. Dexify on 0%. Jamie now on 1%. Jamie does get past up into P9. Also, you have to remember, both Blaze, Jamie and Dexify have penalties. Arweb does not. If we take a look at the penalties, Tony on 5 seconds, so as it stands, he will drop to P3. Baby in P5 on 3 seconds, as it stands, he'll drop to P6. Blaze, Jamie and Dexify will all drop nothing as things stand. But they're all on 3 seconds. As you see Blaze pick up some DRS there from Husky, the AI lapped car. And Dexify just losing time to those ahead. So Jamie, as Blaze goes off the track, through goes Jamie up to P8. But will Blaze look for the move back, as he will have the DRS now heading down this straight? I think he's just going to sensibly sit behind, unless he goes for a last minute move into turn 1. Yellow flags in sector 3. I don't know who that's for. That is Sunday in the Williams. He's kept it going. Not too sure what happened there. Gap between Tony and Diamonds now, 3.3 seconds. Lap 28 out of 33. I think Ibrahim might have to do something about it if he wants to help his teammate. And Sunday's out, and that's brought out a virtual safety car. And Tony's coming to the pits. He will also get rid of his 5. Surely Diamond stays out. No, he comes in as well. So does Ibrahim. It's because it's a full safety car, ladies and gentlemen. So Diamonds will get the jump on Tony. So he'll be leading on the restart. Ibrahim will hold position. And no, Tony did keep it. So Tony, very quick coming into the pits there. Black Reaper also in. Yep, we're going to see, I would assume, every driver coming to the pits now. But that has really helped Arweb and King at their chance at points here. And also Arweb helping him save fuel. So it will be a 2-lap shootout then. Pit lane very busy, everyone going onto the softs. Blaze jumping up into P8. Jamie lost a position there, I do believe. He's down to P10 now. So Baby has a 3, Blaze has a 3. Dexify and Jamie all have 3 seconds, so in a way this safety car is very unfortunate for them with their penalties. But it is a reward for those who have not picked up penalties. This has really helped Tony out, I would say. Came in, got rid of his 5, and now he is on the same wavelength as everyone else. No penalties, fresh softs, and he can just go for it for the final few laps here in Spain. as we just wait on the last few drivers to catch the train, and we will get racing this lap. So we will have 3 laps of racing, which means on lap 33 out of 33, the final lap, the DRS will be enabled. But until then, there'll be no DRS to help the drivers overtake down the straights. Here we go then, safety car in this lap. So Tony will lead this restart with Diamonds in P2, Ibrahim in second Alpine P3, Blackry P4, Baby P5, Ella P6, Blaze P7, Starry P8, Dex5 P9, with Jamie rounding out the top 10 with Arweb and King in P11 and 12. But we have Baby, Blaze, Dex5 and Jamie all on 3-second penalties, and here we go. It is foot to the floor for Tony as he gets the race underway. The top 3 have broken away. Diamonds picking up a slipstream on Tony now. Going into turn 1, he pulls out of the slipstream to the inside into turn 1. They're side by side momentarily, but Tony around the outside defending there. Lovely. Here comes Diamonds again with a switchback, side by side, up towards turn 3, looks for it, but not quite. Ibrahim tucks in, Baby now a second off of these 3, so it looks like the podium could be far away as Dexify overtakes Ella up into P7 for the Hash driver. Obviously, provisionally that is. Jamie up to P9 now on Starry in the Red Bulls. The Red Bull P8 and P9 as things stand. As you see Baby now catching the top 3 once more, but has no battery at all. So neither does Tony. Tony down to 30%. Diamonds up on 60. Oh! And Ibrahim with an over-ambitious move taps Diamonds off of the circuit. That allows Baby up to P3. So Diamonds has now lost 2 positions down to P4. And Tony has now got out of the DRS. And that will be one that is noted and looked at by the stewards. As Tony now with a 12.9 fastest lap of the race. Here comes Baby on Ibrahim around the outside into turn 1. Can't quite get it done. Stays P3. Diamonds now looking for the move as Starry and Webb going side by side further back. So we ride on board. Webb has now got that move done up into P10. As we go further up front, Black Pepper looking for the move on Diamonds. Diamonds looking for the move on Baby. Moves happening everywhere. King going for the move on not only Arweb, but also Starry. Arweb coming back at King around the outside. That's a lovely move from Webb to keep his P10 there. It's all happening now on lap 32 of 33. Tony now only leads by half a second, so lead has come down a lot. Here comes Ibrahim. They're going side by side into the left-hander. A little bit of contact from both drivers there. Ibrahim takes the lead. A little bit of a tap between Diamonds and Baby, and I wonder if Tony recognises that he will get a penalty and he's going to try and help his teammate win the race as Black Pepper makes an audacious move in the final sector on Diamonds. As we now head on to the final lap, Tony and Ibrahim swap positions again. DRS enabled. All drivers low on battery, on fuel. This is it. Diamonds back up into P4. Can he look for P3 for the podium places? He's going to have to get past Baby. Baby does have a penalty though, so it will not be necessary, but he's going to look for it anyway. Around the outside into turn 3 on the marble. He gets a bit wide, and we watch this now in no HUD as we ride on board with what is Baby in the AlphaTauri, looking on his rear wing at Diamonds, closing him down for the podium places. Diamonds will get a dose of the DRS heading through this corner. DRS opens now up through the gears. It's going to have to be a massive lunge from here. It's not quite close enough, but we look closer towards the front. Tony, absolutely lovely recovery drive from him. Ibrahim tucked in behind P2. It will be an Alpine 1-2 provisionally. Tony then comes around the final corner, crosses the line, and he will take the win and fastest lap here in Spain. Ibrahim takes P2, Diamonds P3, Black Reaper P4, and I cannot read everyone else out because it passed too quick. But Tony is your race winner here in Spain, Alpine 1-2 provisionally. It's a great recovery drive from Tony, takes driver of the day, definitely deserved in my opinion. As we look here, so Tony then, provisional results, takes the race win, does get the fast lap point as well, so takes maximum points from P3 on the grid. Ibrahim in P2, his Alpine teammates at Alpine making massive strides towards where they'd want to be. Diamonds picking up that third place after driving what I would say was a very good race from him. Black Reaper then P4, Ella P5, disappointing for her as she drops from P2 to P5. Baby up from 13th to 6th, that's a very good drive from him. R-Web up to P7, good recovery drive from P10. Blaze P8, King P9, Dexify P10. And then we have Starry, Jamie, Husky and Sunday finishing off the grid. Unfortunately for Jamie there, he was the championship leader coming into this race. Had the lead by about 4 points. I think the deficit now will only be about 6. So not too bad for Jamie there, but obviously not ideal. But there we go. That was wheel-to-wheel racing here in Spain. It's been a very, very enjoyable race. Tony taking the win, and personally my driver of the day. Whether he does get the penalty for that collision or not, I don't know. But either way, it's a very solid drive from him. We'll be back next week for some more commentary, and if it is anything like this race has been, then I'm sure we will thoroughly enjoy this. See you next time.